It says, Vrindavan is filled with transcendental bliss. It destroys the greatest sin and miseries. Simply by living there, one is awarded liberation. Because it destroys the greatest sin and miseries. And simply by living there, it can award you liberation. And this statement is further confirmed in Adivaraha Purana. It says, as darkness is vanished by sunrise, as mountains tremble in the fear of thunder, as snakes fear Garuda, as clouds are removed by the blowing wind, as miseries are destroyed through cultivation of knowledge, as deer tremble in the fear of tigers, so are sins destroyed by the sight of Mathura and Vrindavan. So very nicely it's explained here. The way it is explained, even the sins are destroyed by the sight of Mathura and Vrindavan. They compare to like darkness vanished by sunrise, mountains tremble in the fear of thunder, snakes fear Garuda, clouds are removed by the blowing wind, and miseries are destroyed by cultivation of knowledge. In the same way, sins are destroyed by the sight of Mathura and Vrindavan. So just see how glorious this place is. In fact, last year when we had visited Vrindavan, we had visited one place which is called as Pavana Sarovar. It's like a pond, and when we happened to go to that place, it has a very interesting pastime. As you know, 5,000 years back, Krishna appeared in this planet, and the main thing for Krishna is to establish religion. To establish clearly that he is the supreme. If you worship Krishna, that's it. You need not go anywhere else. So it so happened that once Nanda Maharaj and his associates wanted to go to Prayag. Since Prayag is a holy place, they wanted to go to Prayag, to take a dip. And the same thing they conveyed to Krishna. And when Krishna came to know that, since he wanted to establish dharma and wanted to show that Vrindavan has everything. Once you come to Vrindavan, you need not go to any other place. He encouraged them that why don't you go take a dip in Pavan Sarovar? It's as good as taking dip there, or far more better. But still they were not so convinced. But still a small boy was telling, Nanda Maharaj and his associate decided, okay, let us go there, take a dip, and then we'll think about going to Prayag. And so they started walking towards this Pavan Sarovar. And on the way, they met a person who was fully darkish complexion. He was fully dark. And they were surprised because first time they had seen this kind of person in Vrindavan. So they just inquired from him, who you are, how come you are in this place, what you want to do. And then that person said he is Prayag personified. And he said that because people come, take dip, they leave their sinful deeds, creation in that place and they go back. So he has turned fully black, and he himself, this holy place that is Prayag personified, himself comes to Pavan Sarovar to take dip there, to purify himself. But just see how glorious this place is. That's why it is said, if you visit Vrindavan, you are getting the result of visiting all the tirthas. In fact, more than that. This is how Vrindavan is. In fact, even it is said in Vayu Purana that any sin committed in Vrindavan is destroyed there itself. And further it is said in Padma Purana that the result of whatever sin which forces a man to suffer for 10 years outside Mathura, it can be destroyed within 10 days by living in Mathura. And further in same thing in Adivara Purana it is said that if the killer of a Brahmana, a drunkard, a killer of a cow, or any person who violates Brahmacharya circumambulates Vrindavan, he'll be freed from the result of his sin. A pilgrim who comes from faraway country and circumambulates Vrindavan purifies whoever he sees him and relieves them from their sin. So it is said, people just by circumambulating this place, they themselves gets relieved from all the sin. And that's why generally you yourself can notice, or you yourself can see by your own example, when you come to Vrindavan, as soon as the trip gets over, when we are leaving that place, you will feel the difference. You can easily make out the difference in your consciousness. Many times I've seen some boys, they have become even more serious. They'll be struggling to chant 1 or 2 rounds, but as soon as they come to Vrindavan, you can see they start chanting 8 rounds, 16 rounds, because that place has that kind of potency. That's why all acharyas, even the scriptures, they encourage all of us to go visit that place. And one more thing, that place is a kind of a hidden place, which can be only be shown by the mercy of a spiritual master. So, and also that place is such that Vrindavan, it is even glorified in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where, as you know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he took sannyas, by the request, his mother requested him that please be in Jagannath Puri, don't go to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is far away from Bengal. At least if you are in Jagannath Puri, I can come and see you. So, though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, still he used to always contemplate and think more about Vrindavan. It so happened once during the Rath Yatra festival. As you know, every year there is a Rath Yatra festival in Jagannath Puri. So generally the Lord who is there in Jagannath Puri temple, he goes to Gundicha temple. So Jagannath Puri temple, it represents Dwaraka, that is, opulence, which Krishna stayed in Dwaraka. It had a lot of palaces. He displayed his opulence feature there. And then there is Gundicha temple, which represents Vrindavan. So every year the Lord, along with Baldev and Subhadra, they leave Jagannath Puri temple and they stay for 7 days in Gundicha temple. And during that time, there is one more festival called as Hera Panchami festival. In that, the servants of Lakshmi, because the Lord is away from Jagannath Puri for more than 7 days, so Lakshmi comes to chastise the Lord and tells him to come back fast. So that's why, to have this event, what they do is the servants of Lakshmi Devi, they come, they destroy the chariot of Lord Jagannath, and indicating that Lakshmi is chastising Jagannath for being away from Jagannath Puri for so much long time and being in Gundicha temple. So during one such instant during this Hera Panchami festival, especially during this Rath Yatra time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to spend time with his close associates like Sarup Damodar, Srivas Thakur in Jagannath Vallabha Gardens. And it once so happened, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting there along with his close associates, he said once to Sarup Damodar, can you please talk about Vrindavan? I want to hear about Vrindavan. So here, very nicely, Sarup Damodar describes Vrindavan, and he shares his great realization about Vrindavan, about Brajavasis who are the inhabitants of Vrindavan, about Srimati Radharani, and then he goes on to explain about the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. And when he was going on explaining, Srivas Thakur, who was none other than Narad Muni, he interrupts and he says that just see my Lakshmi Devi, because Srivas Thakur was Narad Muni. He was more influenced by the opulence of Dwaraka or the opulence of Vaikuntha. So when he heard a description of this Vrindavan by Swarup Damodar, he interrupted him and started glorifying Lakshmi and Vaikuntha by saying, just see my Lakshmi Devi. The opulence with which she resides within the holy Dham of Vaikuntha cannot be compared. As far as Vrindavan is concerned, Vrindavan consists of trees, flowers, leaves, peacock feather. That's it. In Vrindavan, Srivas Thakur says, your gopis milk cows, boil milk, churn the milk into yogurt. But in Vaikuntha, my Lakshmi sits in a royal, opulent, majestic throne made of the most precious jewels. So like this, Srivas Thakur started glorifying Vaikuntha opulences. And as he was going on, then suddenly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped him and he said, Srivas, you are acting like Narad Muni because you have fully been influenced by the opulence of the Lord in Vaikuntha. Then he says, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies Swarup Damodar. He says, but Swarup Damodar is a pure devotee of Vrindavan. He doesn't know anything about these opulences. He only knows pure devotional service. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to know about the Vrindavan, he tells Swarup Damodar, please continue. So he chats in a very, they had a good pastime, and he was telling that you are fully been influenced by this Vaikuntha Bhava. So let us hear now about Vrindavan from Swarup Damodar. Then now Swarup Damodar says, my dear Srivasa, you have forgotten the natural opulence of Vrindavan. Then Swarup Damodar goes on, the opulence of Vrindavan is like an unlimited vast ocean in comparison to the opulence of Dwaraka in Vaikuntha. In Vrindavan is a Chintamani Dham. It's a place where everything that exists is a touchstone. Even tiny dust or sand is more precious than the most valuable gem of Vaikunta. Even a tiny dust of Vrindavan is more precious, not of any other Tirtha, but of Vaikunta, place of no anxiety. Vrindavan is a place where the Chintamani stone decorates the lotus feet of gopis. Vrindavan is that place where every tree in the forest is Kalpavriksha. What desire? They fulfill desires. What desire? Desire to serve the Lord. Then the Vrajavasis have no desire other than to enjoy the fruit of these trees. In Vrindavan, the cows who graze the grass, and when they are movement, it's compared to like a clouds, the movement of a clouds in the sky. And it said that the milk which they give tastes like nectar. They give unlimited milk, and the Vrajavasis are thoroughly satisfied by that, and they don't desire anything else. Then he goes on to explain the position of gopis. He says, in Vrindavan, the gopis are supreme goddess of fortune. Even the least of the gopis have love millions of times exceeding that of Lakshmi. Even the least of the gopis, their love for the Lord is millions of times compared to Lakshmi. In Vrindavan, all speech is a music, all motion is a dance, all water is a nectar, and the constant companion of everyone is the sweet, melodious flute of Lord Sri Krishna. This constitutes the real opulence of Vrindavan. Then, after hearing this wonderful glories of Vrindavan, even Srivas Thakur, who was influenced by the opulence of Vaikunta, just by hearing this opulence, it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he also started dancing in ecstasy, clapping his hands, making sound, and seeing him, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was fully pleased. And then he told Sarup Damodar, please go on singing the glories of Vrindavan. So this is Vrindavan. So even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there in Jagannath Puri, in his pastimes, he made sure that people know what is Vrindavan. He glorified Vrindavan so that we develop the desire to go to that place and make our life successful. That's why it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam also, as you know, there is a pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. Since Dhruva Maharaj wanted to rule the kingdom of his father, and as you know, his stepmother didn't want that to happen. He was insulted and he was not ready to take that insult, and he knew that that no one can do anything. So he approached his mother, and his mother requested him that please go to the forest, only Narayana can help you. So the child, with determination, he started towards the forest, and at that place he met Narad Muni. And in that, then Narad Muni tested Dhruva Maharaj, and seeing the determination of Dhruva Maharaj, he says one thing. It is there in Bhagavatam 4th canto 8th chapter, where he says, this is said by Narad Muni to Dhruva. He said, my dear boy, I therefore wish all good fortune for you. You should go to the banks of Yamuna, where there is forest named Madhuvana. So Madhuvana is one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan. And be there, get purified. So Narad Muni is telling that go to that place, one of the 12 forests, which is there in the banks of Yamuna, and get purified. Just by going there, one draws near the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who always lives there. And as you know, after doing tapasya for 6 months, Dhruva was fortunate enough to get the darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here in Bhagavatam also there is a pastime that even Narad Muni is encouraging Dhruva Maharaj to go to Vrindavan so that he can, have that darshan of the Lord very quickly. So this is the glories of Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan, it is said that all our desire gets fulfilled. Recently, I heard in one of the Bhagavatam class given by Madhu Pandit Prabhu, where Prabhu was telling that this desire is the greatest asset for a living entity, for a soul. Because as it desires, Paramatma is there noting down. And especially for devotees who are chanting 16 rounds daily, when they desire, it happens very quickly. And especially in a place like Vrindavan, where many things get quickly satisfied. So since we are going to that place, we should use this opportunity. Let us desire more to serve Vaishnavas. Let us desire more to serve the great souls. Just like there is a place called as Chakratirtha, which is a bhajan kutir of Sanatan Goswami. So we'll be visiting that place when we do our Govardhan Parikrama. So that's the place where Sanatan Goswami had his bhajan kutir. And it is said in that place, anyone, whatever he desires, it gets fulfilled. Because that is also a place where Radha and Krishna had performed their swing festival, just like we had this Julan Utsava before Janmashtami, or during that Balram Jayanti, we had celebrated this Julan Utsava. So that swing festival happened in that Chakra Tirtha, and it is said in this Chakra Tirtha, all your desires gets fulfilled. And that is a place where Sanatan Goswami had his bhajan kutir. So when Sanatan Goswami entered his old age, and Sanatan Goswami every day used to do the entire parikrama of Govardhan. The Govardhan parikrama he used to do. Whatever may be his condition, even though he's so old, he used to ensure that he used to do that parikrama. But seeing this condition of Sanatan Goswami, Krishna disguised himself as a small boy and approached him in Chakra Tirtha and requested him to please stop doing this, especially at this old age. But still, Sanatan Goswami was completely determined that he will never go back in his commitment. So, seeing this commitment of Sanatan Goswami, the small boy who was none other than Krishna himself, went to the top of the Govardhan hill. He brought a small rock of Govardhan, and in that small rock, it had an impression of a feet of Krishna, a flute, as well as a calf's hoof. And he gave it to Sanatan Goswami and requested him that please circumambulate this small rock daily, which is as good as circumambulating the entire Govardhan. In fact, when we go to Vrindavan in Radha Damodar temple, the stone is there, which was used by Sanatan Goswami. So, seeing this desire of Sanatan Goswami was so determined, because generally Krishna, what he sees the intent, he sees a purpose, and seeing that, Krishna always blesses his devotees. The same thing happened with Sanatan Goswami also. Seeing the purity, that determination, Lord himself was so much pleased with Sanatan Goswami's bhakti, because that is a place where Vrindavan is a place where all your desires get fulfilled. In fact, when Pavana Sarovar, which we'll be visiting, which I had described some time back, even Pavan Sarovar, he had his bhajan kutir, he used to stay there sometimes. So Rupa Goswami used to go and meet him. So once Rupa Goswami had a desire to serve sweet rice, to make a sweet rice, offer to the Lord, and just give it to his elder brother Sanatan Goswami. But he was a sannyasi living on Madhukari. He was not able to do that. But still, he had a desire. It so happened Srimati Radharani knew about it, and she disguised herself like a small girl, and she came to Rupa Goswami and gave him ghee, milk, and all the ingredients which are required to make sweet rice. And she said that my mother has told me to give it to you, so I have given it. And she went off. Then Rupa Goswami was very pleased. Then he himself prepared a sweet rice, offered to the Lord, and he tasted. It tasted like nectar. And then he went to Sanatan Goswami and he gave that. And as soon as Sanatan Goswami tasted that offering, he asked, how did you make it and who gave you all the ingredients? When Rupa Goswami told the details, Sanatan Goswami said, please don't have this kind of desires, because you made Srimati Radharani to come and serve you. So just see how this place is. Anything you desire, they are ready to fulfill. It's not just for pure devotees, even for us. If we have a desire, small desire to do devotional service, Krishna will fan it. Just like through the pastime of Putana. When Putana was killed by Krishna, in fact, it is said that she got liberated. You see the intention with which Putana came to Vrindavan. Her intention was to kill Krishna. But how Krishna gave her liberation? Because he saw that she gave her, that Putana gave him milk, that motherly love she showed. Though her intention was to kill him, but what Krishna took the good part, that is her devotional service. So, little bit of devotional service and Vrindavan. This combination is really, I can say, it's an amazing combination which can bless us with a lot of advancement in our devotional service. And when we go there, we should always be desiring how to increase our rounds more, how to become more and more serious. Because anything that we desire in Vrindavan, you can see it definitely gets fulfilled. That's no doubt about it. It's not that only for pure devotees he'll fulfill. No, in whatever state we are, it will definitely happen. So when we go to Vrindavan, even the trees can fulfill all your desires. We should pray to them to bless us, to make us more strong in following the regulative principles, to make us more serious in our japa, in our chanting Hare Krishna mantra, to help us in hearing this holy name and becoming more and more serious and serving this mission of Prabhupada in whatever way we can. When we have these desires, because this is the medicine which Prabhupada has given us, and when by taking these medicines properly, we can see advancement is guaranteed. So to take that medicine for properly, we should have this desire. And when we go to Vrindavan, that's a place where all our desires are fulfilled. So when you come to Vrindavan, take advantage of all these things. As it is said in this verse in Adi Varaha Purana, I'm sorry, that if anyone desires freedom from material bondage and attaining love of God, he should glorify Vrindavan with his body, minds, and words. So I repeat, if anyone desires freedom from material bondage and attaining love of God, since Krishna Prema is a goal of life, and if you want to reach that stage, you have to come out of material bondage. So what to do? So Adi Varaha Purana says that you should glorify Vrindavan with your body, mind, and words. So with this, I'll end today. So come to Vrindavan, use your biggest asset, your desire, by glorifying it and desiring to serve the great souls. And you yourself can see the result. Hare Krishna.